Hey, welcome to What's the Story, everybody. Hope you are having a good day today.
Hey,
And
we had to go in the other room and cool Ed's mouth off.
Keep that backbone strong.
that's right. We love Susie Husner. She is an awesome artist and Light Black Productions produces her music for her, and we are always glad to be able to play it. I finally figured out a way to add that in, and so yeah, I'm happy to have her. And we're happy to have you as our guests, and hopefully you're finding the link well enough after we break from the first hour and go into the second hour. It just makes it a little bit better for us when we go to produce the shows and put them on the radio on 93.7 FM via America Matters Media. And they have a special going on. I just saw it today, and maybe I can find it while you're doing your thing. They have a special for everybody, so hopefully,
Like 5-cent candy bars?
no, like 5 commercials, I think.
Oh, like
5
roll
1-minute
the
commercials.
clock back to 1984.
Yeah, something like
Nice.
that. Yeah, they've got something.
I think the radio station is way undervalued,
I do too.
and what we do too. And so if you're a small business, people pay attention and they're loyal listeners,
Yes.
and we're very grateful to have ours, but every show has some.
That's right. That's right. So, like I say, I'll look for the exacts on that. I just got an email on it, and I, just didn't have a chance before the show to print it out and see exactly what they're offering. But like I say, 93.7 FM. We're on 7 to 9, and hopefully you can tune in there if you missed a show or whatever. We replay them all there and hit some extra listeners that way. And we love being able to produce the show here at LaRue Press via the LaRue Press Network. But again, America Matters Media, I've been with them for 12 years. We're not going to stop. Just relocated our production. And other than that, it's all good.
It's because Doug and I talk too much, right? Remember, we used to have like commercial breaks all the time. Guess what? We have one now, and it's just so Doug and I can catch our breath, and then we come back. But no, Jan's setup is awesome. And for those of you who have not been to LaRue Books, check it out on Greg Street.
That's right. We're in Greg Street in Reno, not in Sparks.
That was only half the statement there. When you check out the books, make sure you do it on Tuesdays, right around 3, and you can peek in the window. There's 3.
That's right.
3 absolute.
Yeah, we'll open up the windows.
Absolutely, 3 beautiful people sitting in here flapping on.
Yes, if you look at behind me at our "What's the Story" sign, there's actually some blinds there that we could open up if we had some.
We could have
folks
our own.
out there.
We could have
to
some.
Browse the books while you listen
we could
to
for
us.
sure have some oxymoronic behavior.
It's true. And then, in the first hour, we talked about the president's platforms and their proposals and agendas that they have. And we talked about President Biden and kind of where is he and did he have a neurological event? So if you missed that show, you might want to listen into that. It's posted on Rumble channel, on all our Facebook channels, which is LaRue Press, Bookhound, and What's the Story. I didn't tell you guys. Well, I was doing some research on some things, and I was actually researching for an article. And in the process, I had to use the Wayback Machine. If anybody's ever used the Wayback Machine, right?
With how many gigawatts of power?
Yeah, exactly. So I went way back, and I went back to 2012. And as I said, I was looking for something else. And then I said, well, I'm not finding anything there. So I went to our website, the LaRuePress.com website, because I wanted to see if they just scrubbed everything, right? Because people were saying, oh, this has been scrubbed. It was about Kamala Harris. And they said that something had been scrubbed. And I wanted to check it and see if it really had. Well, interestingly, sorry, I'm getting a call. I have to.
Spam risk.
No, it was actually a friend.
Oh.
So I'm checking to see if she's really had her site scrubbed. One of them, I couldn't tell if it was scrubbed or not. But so anyway, in the meantime, the other one, it didn't look like it had been. So I don't know if that was valid or not. Depends on what they were talking about. So in the meantime, I went to my website to see, has it been scrubbed? Maybe they're doing this to everybody. Well, no, it hadn't been. And how fun. I found my early Bookhound shows when my very first show.
Oh,
I found it, and I
nice.
was able, because I downloaded everything onto our site in the beginning. I would do that. So I went ahead and I downloaded all the shows. So I have the first 6 months of my shows. And it's something that I thought I'd really lost because the station had some things happen. And so they didn't have it. I didn't have it. And, some computer things, all those things happen. So it was wonderful. And I'm so excited because I listened to one of the shows, one of the first ones. And it's so funny because I always talk about how bad I was. Well, I actually talked really fast. And I read a lot, and I mean, I read here, but this was like I was reading my script, and I'm telling you what's going on. It was fun. It was fun to listen to.
It's always amazing to me when we look back at our growth, and it's without fail, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to achieve, and we all are naive at something until we're not.
It's true.
Well, you know what?
Hey, Jim Goddard, what do you want me to sign you up for? You want me to sign you up for those free ads? I will find out from America Matters what's going on. I will connect with you after the show and find out exactly what you want. If that's what you're signing up for, I'm not sure that that's it, but if it is, we'll catch you on that.
When we vote, right, they have that checkbox for if you want to donate.
Yeah.
Is that like an opt-in on like email, like ads and text ads? So you check this box and we will inundate you with.
That's right.
We will tie your hands with information forever.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, but yeah, it was fun to listen to those beginning shows and to see who the guests were. And so I'm going to contact a couple of them that are still around and see if they'll come on and we can kind of reminisce a little bit about.
Oh, no, I was there once.
I was there once. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back.
You know what?
But it was fun. It was fun to listen.
Have been together for a number of years now.
6 years. Yeah.
6 years. Isn't that amazing? I think, and I watch it and listen, and it's such a slow evolution, but I think we have gotten better. And going back 6 years ago, listening to a program, I go, well, I don't know how we could get any better.
Oh, no ego there, my friend.
I was going to say the only thing I did for 6 years and didn't get better at was mortgage. But anyway.
That's not true. You were very good at your job. Don't ever doubt that. He was good at what he did. So anyway, you have a story that we didn't get to share in the first hour. And folks, if you're writing people looking for the story about getting paid to write, we are going to cover that. But I told Doug that because I talk too much, that he brought the story in and he'd like to share it. So, and I think he had it last week too.
You talked about going back to 2008 or 2009. I go, oh, hey, I'm still worried about Y2K. This is a perfect example of how the government at large or the spokespeople, hey, let's keep them worried about something. And that was Y2K. And here we are 24 plus years later, and we're still here. Computers work, clocks work. Here,
yes.
Refrigerator still works. Everything.
It's true.
There's two things I want to start. The first I'll go over very, very quickly. Debbie's my wife, and we went and saw the movie Reagan. And what I want to bring forward, and I talked to a very close friend of mine, and I said that I have had it with Rotten Tomatoes. They're a movie rating. And we would always look on there to see, well, do we want to spend our money to go see these movies? Well, Rotten Tomatoes gave the movie Reagan an 18.
And what is that? What's their scale?
1 to 100.
Oh my Lord!
They gave it an 18.
Wow.
Do you know what viewers gave it? A 98.
Wow.
So that I thought, oh my goodness. And I started investigating that. All you have to do is put Rotten Tomatoes in there and they said, you will get a bazillion things that said, don't pay any attention to it. They're so far skewed to the left, you will never be able to see another movie
That's
again.
So this goes
That's too
to
bad.
my long-standing stance that movie and book ratings are CRAP. Right. And they always have been, and they still are. And
I
anyway,
disagree
that's what
with
they
the
are.
book
But
ratings.
you know
I
what?
disagree.
See,
with you.
I thought something as generic that movie. That rating a movie doesn't have anything. I mean, my
Yeah,
gosh.
it doesn't. It's not about
it-
the concepts or the ideology.
Oh,
It's about the movie,
The performances.
performance, the
Nope,
actors.
Nope,
the
that's exactly. It is all their idea. And after seeing the movie, honestly, go see it, because one of the things that you have to do when you go see a movie, you know it's a real good movie when it's over. Does the audience applaud?
right.
And they did, and
Well, and you would expect that people that are going to see that are going to tend to be conservative. They're not
Yes.
going to be,
It's
just by
like
the fact
what-
of what the movie's about. But
yeah.
if I'm a raider, I'm not going to look at the idea. I already know that going in, that's the ideology. And if I'm left, I'm not going to agree.
Right.
But did the movie present itself honestly, accurately? Was it historically accurate? I mean, those are the questions you want to ask.
Yeah,
And as a
wouldn't that
person on
be-
the left,
would-
you should really rate it that way, and you
Would-
should look at it that way,
Yeah, wouldn't that
so
be
that
a
your cohorts can know whether or
honest-
not
honest
it's honest.
criteria is
Yeah.
all we're asking for.
Yeah.
And you weren't here, but one of the things when when we asked the question and tried to answer it, the public at large, who is it that they think is the honest news outlet? Which number one would you pick?
So I know what they chose,
What?
I think, because we talked about it on the trip. Wasn't it NPR or somebody like that?
No.
Oh.
The Weather Channel.
See, that's always the job I wanted, because you never have to be right. Right? They can't fire you. And back to your ratings, I think we should use Rusty, and that's like a 2 barks up, right? 2 barks
Oh,
up,
we could.
2
we
barks
could.
up, 1
Our
bark
book count.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
book count barks.
Yeah.
There you go. Good idea.
And you can record like a 2 bark or 3 bark or 4 bark thing.
I like it. Yeah, when he's out there barking at
Yeah.
all the
You
dogs
can-
that are walking
You can
by.
just hold the microphone open for 4 and go, okay, we got a 5 barker now. Go.
Okay, now
That's awesome.
what I'd really like to talk about, not all of that was important, but this is really important. Within the last couple of years, the Supreme Court came out and gave a ruling on affirmative action. And they said, yes, great program and this and that, but it's also past its usefulness and it's time to move on. Well, the move on was the DEI. And with DEI, I was...
So DEI is not a Supreme Court thing. That's a Biden
No,
program.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I just wanted to separate.
And when I came late to the party, because up until a couple months ago, I'd never even heard of DEI. Well, so I started, doing.
I thought it was a new store, like REI, like a
exactly.
sports store.
Yeah, so I started
DEI.
doing, and this is important enough where I try to get away, like Janice, get away from the reading, but this is so important, and it puts it all in context a lot better than I can. And it's only a couple paragraphs. So a wave of political anti-DEI sentiment in recent months has resulted in gains for anti-woke activists as companies like Tractor Supply, Lowe's, Harley-Davidson are nixing some of their DEI initiatives and efforts. Now Ford is joining the list after anti-DEI activists shared an internal communication confirmed by Ford that the company is making changes in line with what activists want.
Now, I just have a comment on that real quick. And that comment is, right, we're here talking about these companies getting rid of their DEI. Why'd they get it in the first place?
Well,
because they were pressured. Okay, right. This is government overreach but there's no requirement that they have DEI.
I
I'm just saying, these hardcore companies sold their souls and now they're trying to buy it back.
Okay. The bottom line, DEA is a threat and states should act. The equity ideology is eroding Americans' institutions by evaluating political agendas above excellence and merit. NASA will soon find out, like K through 12 schools and universities have. What happens when you put propaganda before the proper education and focus on focus on education of equity over excellence. While the federal government wages a politically motivated war on these institutions, states must follow the lead of Florida, Montana, Iowa, Arkansas, Kansas, and Kentucky in pushing back against DEI, if not outright banning them. So you were right, Ed. You were dead bang on, where it was the government that was pushing this crap, and everybody had to follow in line. And now, and one of the other thing that the triggering mechanism to me was yesterday. I read a little article, again, that was produced by AOL, that it said the soldiers in Ukraine, the Ukrainian soldiers, were laughing at our country because of DEI. And they showed...
Can't blame them.
There's about 1 million things they can laugh at.
This was, they said, here's a guy that's in a dress. Here's a guy that... and it went through this litany of stuff. And the bottom line was, when the Ukrainian soldier said, we're really not afraid of the American army.
Wonder why not?
Well, unless it was a Zoom meeting and they had to look at that, then they'd be a different story, right? But if you're just imagining it, it's not that bad.
Can you imagine somebody looking at look at the cabinet that Biden put in place. Oh my gosh.
The world, Doug, every day there's just ridiculous stuff that our country does that people around the world laugh at.
And
as well they should.
Not only that, Ed, that's only half the issue. You cannot come forward and say, oh my gosh, that was stupid. You are not allowed to laugh at it, because if you do, you become one of them.
So if you can't laugh at yourself, you're too full of yourself.
Well, it's pretty much the left.
Best I could tell, it's left and right. It's all of us.
It is.
It's all of us.
All right, let's talk about getting paid to write articles. Now, I have done research on this in the past and tried to find different ways that, people can get paid to write. This particular site that I came up with, Blogging Pro, is the name of it. And it is by Khanyi, Khany Malomo. And it was updated on August 2nd. So of this year. So, pretty current information. It's not the $10 type. They're talking about paying $75 plus per post. Most of the time, if you're a writer, you're getting the $10 here, $10 there, that kind of thing for your contributions. It's more of a, just an honorarium type of thing, and not even quite that.
Is it like a check you put on the wall saying, hey, look, I got paid to write?
Instead of the rejection slip, you're putting,
I think that's what I do, is put it on the wall. I got paid to write.
My old fire chief, when he would talk about the, money and the budget, if it was a small expense, he used to call that budget dust.
Yeah. Well, I wrote for a couple of online things and got paid, and it was interesting. And I did end up making some money. I worked for Yahoo for a while, and that paid well. But I was doing finance for them, and good editors. It was interesting that, at the time it was a good thing. I had actually applied to about.com. Boy, went through a rigorous thing, but I never made it to that. So I think it's interesting. So, when I saw this, I said, well, at least they're paying a little bit better, right? So the first one is called Long Reads. And long reads, and this says it's 17 legit sites that paid. So I kind of checked some of these out just to kind of see, are they really legit, or what are people saying about them? This one, they did seem to think that, it was good. So the type of content you can expect is personal essays, investigative pieces, engaging narratives. So for you writers who love to write long reads, that's the name of this thing. It's long reads, right? Makes sense. So it's a great place to do that. So advantages of writing for long reads: your work will get exposed to a wide audience. Their team is supportive and will help enhance your writing and storytelling skills. The pay for published articles on long reads varies. For reported essays, critical essays, and columns, rates start at $500. For reading lists, where you curate a reading list based on the specific topics, they pay $350. That's really good. I'm expecting that this is going to be hard to get accepted, right?
You should have high competition.
Yeah, you'll extreme. Copy hackers. I couldn't find anything on copy hackers as far as whether or not it was a scam.
Is that an oxymoron?
No, it does seem that way, doesn't it? Focuses on the art and science of copywriting. So if you're somebody who does copywriting, it's a go-to resource for many online content creators, including copywriters, digital marketers, and entrepreneurs. So they're looking for educational articles and courses, things that focus on helping new writers learn how to craft good copy. So the advantages: you can directly reach and engage with a community of like-minded people, platforms widely recognized, well-known and respected. So being published on Copy Hackers can help enhance your resume. The pay...
Janice, what constitutes plagiarism?
That's like a loaded question.
No, well,
copying something.
So, right, is this the University of Columbia School of Law?
Well, what I mean
Exactly.
by that is if you write in and you don't quote somebody, but you use a couple sentences, is that plagiarizing?
Well, you have to cite it. There's a certain amount that you can do, and that varies depending on what it is, where you're getting it. Did you reference it? I mean, there's just so many things.
So
Don't be a Biden.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say they are so much a word salad, it's impossible. It's impossible to copy all the words they use.
Yeah, exactly. So Copy Hackers, and we can do another show that can maybe address some of that. Copy Hackers pays $300 to $1,000 for accepted posts. So again, competition is going to be huge. However,
what would constitute $1,000?
well, here's what they want. They want you...
Wouldn't be a yes or no question.
No, it would not. They want you to pitch your ideas to them first for approval and expect your article to be at least 2,000 words. They usually respond to pitches within 5 days if they want you to go ahead and write the post. So you come up with an idea, you submit it to them, and then they tell you whether or not they'll accept it. This is no different than when you in the old days, I would submit work to go to Writer's Market, submit your work, and oh my Lord, wall rejection.
I was going to say, Watch the Story can do that. We'll take stories from folks. Now, we won't pay you for them, but you might get some airtime. But, right, we could get some material that way. Obviously, that's what these folks are doing.
Right. List verse. This one I thought was kind of interesting. If you're a new writer with an interesting list to share about pretty much any topic, list verse might be a great option. It's a great place for writers to share their knowledge of experience in various niches. The type of content you can expect to find: pop culture, mystery sightings or occurrences, history or fact-based topics, science and technology. And making lists, I always find it fun to make lists, right? Make lists of different things. And when I find a list, I enjoy that because, I mean, it's just so broken down. It's just itemized, and I don't know. I guess
then we can sit there and go,
yeah, exactly.
Whether they're apart or not apart.
Well, and here's the good part of list verse. You don't have to be an experienced writer. You just have to have a good grasp of the English language and have something interesting to share. So it also can tell you whether or not you're very interesting, right? Or is it, well, it's true, right? Because sometimes people think, oh, this would be so great. And they don't realize it's either been done a lot of times or, whatever that might be. Am I going to post the resources? Not that you have any free time to write anymore. That's from Steve. I can probably find this and post it for you, or I can send it to someone you know. So you don't need to be an experienced writer, good grasp of the English language, quicker process than writing a lengthy, detail-oriented essay or article. And the platform offers writers the creative freedom to explore different topics and express unique ideas. The thing is, when you submit your list, and if the editors like it and publish it, you can expect to earn about $100.
Nice.
But for a list, $100 is a pretty good deal. I think.
Janice,
my brother, it happens to be online and talking.
Yes.
And he's not on this show, but he is a paid writer.
Yes.
He does the wine blogs for Reno News and Review. Yes. It is Steve Knoll, my brother. So there you go, Reno News and Review and Steve.
And you can see that even though he's busy and already doing those kinds of things, he's still looking for resources that might assist in doing something.
But hey, the check comes by my house. I see that it's check. I don't know how big it is, but it comes every month.
But so he gets a check.
He's getting paid to write.
Yeah, but one of the keys is when he gets it in the mail, there's postage due on it.
That's why he comes to my house.
Yeah.
That's right. Hold on, so I'm trying
2,000 words is how many minute read?
Well, you usually can speak 150 words a minute. So
unless
depending
it
on
was
how fast you speak.
First show of What's the Story book count, just double that.
Double it. Oh my goodness.
That is so fun. That is so fun. You've done that.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was fun. It was fun to, and I'll be honest with you, when I saw this article, it looked to me like a post that maybe somebody got paid to promote a company or something. I mean, that's kind of the way it looked to me. And then I read it and I thought, well, even if that is what it is, that was pretty helpful and valuable. So, what can I say?
I would think probably one of the funnest thing to write about was anything that makes people laugh. But and anybody that's tried to write jokes or to write a funny story, the unfortunate thing, what happens is that when you first put pen to paper, you think, oh, this is hilarious. Well, after you clean it up after the fourth or fifth revision, you look at that and you go, I don't know if that's funny or not.
Well, don't you? I mean, to me, right? I've been in yoga a long time and been there 20 years, and everyone goes, hey, don't you want to be a teacher? Right? And I'm like, no, that's work. Yeah. They're creating a day. I want to go experience like the reader. I want the experience that you're giving.
Hey, Doug, Steve is giving you some advice. He says you should get closer to your mic.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I'm saying? That you should get closer to your microphone.
Oh, who said that?
Steve did on there. Thanks for the advice.
My
Steve.
brother's
appreciate it. That's all right. We'll take
critiquing from Cedar Lane in Reno.
Yes, there you go. Thank you for that, Steve. Yeah. So I did, and on your behalf, I did post that article. I found it, and I've got it posted on Facebook. So if anybody's looking for that, go to my What's the Story page on Facebook, and you'll find that article.
Awesome.
You can find out all
Janice,
about this.
When you put that down there, I did some research too. And one of the places that I came says, some people are making $150 or $200 a month to be a continual writer. And they, whoever, just like your brother, man, that would be work as far as I'm concerned, because anything you have to do on a regular basis, if you're a regular person, you wait to the last minute and then it's pressure.
It's true. So a couple of the others, Sport Fishing Magazine. So if you're a sports person and you would like to do something like that, they have some opportunities. Again, that's going to be super competitive. You can expect to earn at least $750 for print features. For digital, they pay between $200. They pay at least $200 for a 1,000-word piece. So, you're going to have to be pretty darn good to get into that print piece, because obviously that's a rare thing these days, right?
If you can write how to tie a fly.
I can do that. I used to tie flies.
Well, I can tie flies, but I can't write about it.
Oh, no, I tied flies. When I was in Klamath Falls, Oregon, I tied flies for somebody who sold them. So he taught me how to tie flies for all different types of things. It was very interesting. I was not a fisherman, so it was new for me, but he taught me how to tie flies.
Of all the things.
Of all the things to talk about.
Of all the things. It's funny as we get more mature that we have like all these adulting things we could teach,
well,
right?
Not being a fisherman either. How do you catch those little guys to tie them?
Doesn't matter. You can't keep them, right? Whatever you catch, you got to get back.
Oh, and the different ways that you do it, and the reasons you do the things you do with them, and what they attract.
You know what?
It was very interesting.
What scars you have from bluegill fins, and right? You get
I'll
wounds.
tell you what. I wouldn't get past the first or second sentence on an article like that. I guess I'd have to rate it a 13 or 15.
So there are 17 of these, folks. So there's, narratively, better humans, and they give all the, advantages of writing for them. Elite personal finance, so Business Insider. I mean, you're going to have to be pretty up there to get into that. They do pay per word. And because a lot of these places are doing online, I think that the rates and the way that they value this stuff is different too, because online, you don't have to worry about print space, right? So, they don't have to limit you as much. So in some ways, that's an advantage.
Yeah.
I read a lot this weekend, right? I was pretty lazy and got my iPad out and read all I could on the war in Ukraine. It interests me. And I read about the Bengals and did a bunch of reading. The writing out there isn't that good, folks. There's room for better. I share U.S. news, right? All the stuff Apple lets you read that you don't have to pay for.
Right.
It is amazing when you see these supposedly excellent writers, how grammatically they're terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the editors too, right? They're letting it go through.
Well, and part of that, like from the war front, they do on purpose because it has value, right? This was done in the war-torn area.
Yeah, I get that. But there are still ways that you can clean that up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it could be cleaned up a bit. So anyhow, so that's the get paid to write articles, 17 sites that pay $75 per post. And it is on the Facebook page for What's the Story. So check that out and you'll be able to read it for yourself. I obviously can't get through all of them, or we'd be here all day.
It's another rhetorical question. How long, hour-wise, do you think it would take you to compose a 2,000-word?
Well, it depends on the topic. Do I have to do a lot of research? That could take a long time if I have to do a lot of research for it.
If it's a personal story and you want to add a little humor to it, and you want to. What I'm getting at is you're going to have 10 hours invested in that.
You could,
that'll be $7.50 an hour.
But many people do this not for the money, but for the exposure. If they have like a blog post or they have a book, it's a great way. Then they get paid.
Not everyone makes that big money I make, Doug.
Or me.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
Think of how many articles.
So,
well, yeah, but as you build your platform, you build the people know who you are. Well, then you can get to the higher dollar stuff, or you're doing speaking engagements, or you're doing, like I say, you're writing a book, and you're doing lots of different things. And
with the fire department, I used to teach a lot. And, you used to have a group anywhere from, 30 to 100 people. I used to absolutely love that because it was so much fun because and I hate to say this, but I had a crew that I worked with, and they would ask me questions all the time. And finally, I told them, I said, you know what? By virtue of the fact that you asked me that question, you don't know if the answer I give you is true.
Mm-hmm.
And they would look at me and then look at each other. From then on, they never trusted a word I said.
Oh, what is that? I'm breaking it up here because we just have enough time to do a book blitz. Would you guys? Well, actually, it's quite a bit of time, but this is where we would normally have a commercial if we were on 93.7. And
Wayne's World.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought I'd throw some music in there and
okay,
kind of break
nice.
it up
I like it.
and let everybody know that we're getting ready to do our book blitz. I'll have to get some better music than that. That's not good.
It was pretty good. You need like the
No, we need that.
just the energy.
Yeah,
right. Like right, a little bit of that urban British
right.
rock of the 80s.
There you go. All right. So I know Doug is just itching to do his book.
You know, one of the things that I do is that whatever the word of the day is, I go to the the internet, put it in there, and see what it throws at me. Well, it must read my mind too, besides the words I put down there, because this was just absolutely spot on. And the name of the book is The Indie Writer's Encyclopedia: All the Terms You Need to Know to Be a Successful Writer.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. This is what we're talking about, right? This is by M.L. Ron as the author. It was, this guy, I just absolutely love this guy. Never heard of him before. He had 16 ratings from 2019. So I love this guy.
Hey, bet they're real. Bet those are 16 real.
Yeah, that's right. It says 300 plus terms, 200 plus explanations, and an appendix that will make your jaw drop. In this useful writer's guide, prolific writer M.L. Ron covers every writing, marketing, and business term that a working writer needs to know to thrive in today's digital world of publishing, with detailed examples. This unique dictionary encyclopedia hybrid will answer virtually any question you have about publishing. Now, what could be better, right?
That's right.
Again, the author is M.L. Ron. Now, this is one of the things I don't understand. This is book 1 of 21. So this guy is a prolific writer.
Obviously.
So, and I'm sure that if you went to this, looked at this book, you could see many others and probably right up on the subject that we're talking about.
It's true. It's very true. You got something for us?
I do, and I love this. Cheryl Atkinson.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, everybody knows Cheryl Atkinson and
Cheryl.
Her hard-hitting reporting. Her latest book is called Follow the Science, and it's on Big Pharma taking advantage of us.
Oh,
and President Biden and
Kamala.
All the fun. Mm-hmm. So just by the nature, she was talking about it today on the national desk. And so it's fresh, new. It looks like it's available on the 17th, I think. It's It's brand spanking new.
Okay.
It's called Follow the Science, and that would be an oxymoron.
Well, and I think that what I like about Cheryl is that she has worked for a lot of the main. You're gonna think I'm weird for liking this, but she's worked for a lot of the mainstream media.
No,
folks.
You can look her up and read all about her.
Yeah, and now she's gone out on her own because she was so limited in what she was allowed to say.
Right.
So by their censoring her, she ended up leaving probably a very lucrative position to do something on her own because she lost her voice, basically. And so this is part of her having her voice.
And she's got a number of books. She's a fascinating individual.
Yeah, she is. I think she's very good.
Yep.
So, well, I have something interesting for you guys. It's not one book. I'm going to give you a little bit of a blitz because I was on Nextdoor and somebody asked for a recommendation of what books they should be reading. And so these folks, this is from Reno, Nevada. Jesse says from the Virginia City Highlands, Dashiell Hammett's short stories if you like mysteries.
That's old, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
Those are like old.
Yes,
things.
Joan Charles from Eastland Hills. You're even older.
Yeah.
Louis L'Amour, Addictive Westerns.
Oh, look, that was
I know. I was
shocked.
shocked.
That was my book of the week a couple weeks ago.
And we obviously have Louis L'Amour books here if you're interested.
There's probably 5,000 different titles.
From Tink and Skyline Vista, Elizabeth Peters, Thomas Perry, and John Sanford have fantastic series. And he says you can get them at the library or one of our competitors, but you can also get them right here at LaRue Press. We have a lovely selection of John Sanford for sure.
Well, and I think you should
I think Thomas Perry.
I think you should really take advantage of the LaRue, the French name, right? You got the telegram, you got Macron arresting the Russian dude. That Russian dude is an interesting guy in that telegram. Anyway, I kind of like him.
Yeah. All right. Dylan says from Damani Ranch. Leona. All right, let me check that. Let's try again. It's because it's the way it's printed. It is Dylan who says, I like historical fiction. Also books on aviation mysteries sound nice. So let's see what else we got. I'm not blitzing very well, am I?
No,
I'm trying.
Right.
Joanne Rourke, Lucky Lane Mobile Park. Ask and it's given. Abraham Esther Hicks. So that was her comment. Gail from Damani Ranch. Joanne, this book and their teachings have changed my life. And it started with this book probably 15 years ago. So everybody's really reaching back. They're not like talking about current, this is just a random bunch of people that are on Nextdoor. Maybe they're all retired, right?
No, it's because I don't know. My opinion are they're reaching back to the best times.
Maybe so. Here's
best times.
Yeah, here's Sandra Adams from the Foothills. She says, I read the entire Women's Murder Club series by James Patterson when I was recovering from knee surgery. The series goes from 1 to 24 so far. And we probably have almost all of those 24 selections of James Patterson. We have a huge collection of James Patterson. So if you like him, come on in. Our books are like $3.
He writes kids on books too. I mean, that guy's written more books. And
yeah, it's true. All right. How about Mike Thomas from Steamboat Creek? Try The Man Who Walked Through Time, about a through hike in the Grand Canyon and Cadillac Desert about water and politics in the West. So there's a good one. Lila from Butch Cassidy Drive, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Sounds okay, right? Or she also recommends City of Fallen Angels. And then Patricia from Bella Vista Ranch, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. So there you go. That's my list of books from our neighbors, and they're truly our neighbors from next door. And I thank you for that. You didn't know I was going to do it, but
right. I mean,
I thought it was, and I thought, well, why am I recommending? These folks are recommending a bunch of books.
When one is driving around, you wouldn't think we were all a bunch of nerds.
It's true. We are.
You mentioned The Nightingale. I did read that book.
Did you?
It's absolutely excellent. She's just such a great author.
Yeah. And he mentioned that Russian guy, right? And interestingly,
the owner of Telegram.
Yes, I had somebody
Tulea or something. Tulea. 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 Something like that.
Anyway, well, you mentioned that an early co-founder of Telegram that worked with, I think it's Pavel.
Okay.
I think it's Pavel that worked with him, was going to come on our show. And so I had him scheduled for an interview. We were going to do it because Christina in Florida hooked me up to talk to him. And so I said, okay, we'll do the interview. And unfortunately, the first day he couldn't make it for crazy reasons. And the second day, my sound wouldn't work right. Speaking of sound, Steve, I couldn't get the volume, or I couldn't get the sound to work so that I could hear them. So needless to say, we haven't done that interview yet. I did have it posted on my Substack. I do intend to do that interview, hopefully soon. And so I just thought it was interesting you brought it up because
Janice, it wasn't he arrested in France?
yeah, he was, but this co-founder that was from the early days, he's no longer part of Telegram, but he knows the guy, and he was going to share his experiences and what he knows and his thoughts about what was happening there.
It doesn't
And
look to me
really
like Macron is arresting him exactly.
I don't really know, other than they're saying that he's not censoring, and that's why they're arresting him. That's what I read.
So he's not censoring either side, but best I can tell, that's not any violation.
Well, they found a way to get him in there, and
well, they did, but
they
it's not.
Him.
But it's not the French. So it's Macron, right? It's a political thing.
Right.
It's a political thing, not a criminal
Well, and
thing.
the owner of Rumble, apparently, I saw a post just real quick in passing that said that he was leaving Europe because of what was happening to this guy. So they got everybody on the run.
Well, they had a run on knife murders whereby, and I think it's important because you don't see it on our media, they were tracing down people with big knives. Right? They were literally looking for big knives, right? The guns, no, big knives now.
What did we
have
hear?
A toe cleaner.
We went to, Paul White spoke at the Freedom Friday.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, is it Teddy who was speaking with him?
Yes.
Who had been homeless but is now not, and is trying to help clean that up.
He's an undercover spy.
He is kind of, yeah. And
he's
he
awesome.
showed us a machete that he took into our homeless shelter, and they knew he had it, and they let him take it in.
Yep.
So what is that, right?
Yeah,
there's no security.
You
obviously
never,
not.
Never
if they
know
can walk
when a
in
big
with
knife is going to go off.
I mean, it's
one of the few times you can say that the operator is the one that
operator error.
Yeah,
it's one of those things, like we think that like all citizens should serve in the military. I literally think every citizen should sleep in a homeless shelter one night.
Oh, it's frightening.
It'll change your politics forever, folks. Ever.
Have you
Take
done
a
it?
look.
Have you done it?
Yes.
Oh, listen here.
You want to share that?
No. Well, it was so long ago that I have like memory issues. Plus, I've been sober 28 years. I was not sober then. So
probably, thankfully.
So this might be going way back in history.
Yeah, I guarantee that
thankfully.
isn't one of the references he uses when he speaks about finances either.
I don't talk about finance anymore, hardly.
Not anymore.
But I was going to say, folks, seriously, take a look at that, right? Go to these shelters.
Hey, it'd be something to write about.
It
right?
would totally be something to
you
write
could
about.
Do some research
Plus,
and write about.
If you have a great idea, best I know, the mayor's going to be hip to turning those parklands back to parks and getting these homeless folks off the street. What are your ideas?
Yeah.
Bring them to What's the Story. We'll get them out there.
Well, you know what my idea about homeless is? Quit importing them. It's pure and simple. The boat is sinking. Let's plug the hole.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true. It's not.
It's a hard question, the homeless. I mean, best I know, you got to let them go. They just can't go do it on public land.
Well, I think that what we read from the Trump agenda was an interesting method. Offer them help to, whether it's mental health or whatever kind of services they need, or you're going to arrest them if they aren't following the law.
It's a problem for conservatives.
Giving them a choice is kind of a good thing, and that should fit into a liberal's world, don't you think?
No, because here's the thing: on the left, they have to fit a category, right? I mean, so here's a big thing Paul talked about.
There's a choice. They can go get help.
Well, I'm with you.
They get help, follow the law, or get arrested. I mean, those are good choices, right?
You know, wait a second. I have a question. You didn't meet one of your wives there, did you?
You know, Doug, sometimes I just don't know what to do with you.
No, I did talk to one of them, but not. I think I was there after my relationship with them.
Oh, you take a lot of heat, my friend.
That's not that much. No one's listening.
Thank God.
There is no rock on this program that will be left
goodness.
unturned.
Oh my goodness.
You know, life experiences are good lessons, and I've got just a wealth of lessons behind me.
Yeah.
And here's our lesson. Guess what time it is? Time to hit the road, I'm afraid. Yep. Another he says yes we are. Steve says yes we are listening. That's it for us here at What's the Story on that note.
Have a clue.
Yes, and have a good week. And as soon as I get my guy for Telegram to be able to come on, I will let everybody know again. Stay well and stay safe. And I don't know, come and join us next week on Tuesdays between 3 and 5 right here, or listen at 93.7 FM between 7 and 9 on Tuesdays for both. All right. That's it. We're out.
All right.